The Alpha Sessions.
So this is the Alpha Sessions. I'm Alan, and with me now in the studio, I'm very pleased to be joined by Emma Withers.
Hello.
Welcome to Radio Brockley.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming down. Now, I should say that as we're recording this, just 2 days ago, I actually bumped into you at Waterloo Station.
You did.
Doing some busking there. And you do a lot of busking, don't you? Is it something you love doing?
I love doing it, and it's a good way to earn money, obviously. It can get pretty crazy. I've had a lot of, do I use the word nutters? But yeah, there's a lot of weird people. I think because you're static, you kind of attract lovely people and absolute crazy people. But it's all part and parcel. But I think it's definitely gave me a thicker skin. Because I think if you can be a busker on the streets of London, I think you can pretty much play anywhere and hold your own.
So what sort of experiences have you had then? I mean, I'm sure there have been a lot of positive and negative ones, but tell us about some of the experiences you've had.
So positive is normally just people coming up to you saying, oh, you're amazing. Are you selling any CDs? Like you give them a CD, they go home, they listen to it, and then you talk after. Like I have people that I still speak to regularly who saw me busking like months ago, and now they come to gigs. So it's a really good way to just get out there. Negative, it can get, I don't think I can say like some of the stuff on here, but yeah, people can get aggressive. But I think you just have to kind of, know how to deal with it and,
I can't see how people can get aggressive. It's crazy how,
it's crazy.
They're getting free entertainment at the station.
Yeah, some people do have a massive problem with it, or they have their own issues anyway. You have to think of it as kind of like it's more of a them problem than a me problem, and that's why I kind of just like if I get anything like that, I just kind of smile while I'm playing because I feel that annoys them more.
Yeah, absolutely. So when did you start getting into busking then?
So officially with Busking London, it was February, so that's when you can do the stations and everything like that, because that's the main place I do busk. I have a Camden licence as well, so I've done that a few times. Since February, really, it's like kind of snowballed into me, going to different parts of London, just put my stuff down, setting up and singing. And
where are some of your favourite places to busk at, or the places you've done so far?
So it can obviously change. Like you can be having such a bad day, like, oh my God, I'm not earning anything. And then someone walks past and gives you like, I had a guy give me $100 bill.
Wow.
And then he kind of just like, I got really emotional because I had like a really bad day and I was like, oh my God, I'm not getting anywhere. And this guy came up to me and gave me $100 and I was like, oh my God, you don't have to do that. So I've forgotten the initial question. I'll just tangent.
In terms of favourite places. Where
favourite places. Yeah. Okay. So Euston is a good one. Waterloo's a good one. Camden is interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
In what way?
In just it's just so much more eclectic. And you just get different sorts of people there. You have some really interesting conversations with people. So yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag, but that's kind of what's good about it.
In terms of good places like Waterloo, Euston that people have mentioned, what makes it good? Is it that you've got a captive audience, or purely that you earn more there?
Yeah, predominantly it's the money.
Yeah.
But you do get crowds. Houston.
You haven't played there yet.
Yeah, no, not yet.
Yeah.
You tend to get I don't know if it's just something about like people coming into London for like day trips and they're in a good mood, but you tend to get quite a good crowd there, and Waterloo, just because it's Waterloo, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And are there certain times of day that are people more sort of friendly in the evenings than in the mornings, or is it no pattern to it?
No, not. I haven't really found a pattern to it, except for London Bridge. That's better at night, I think. And along the river, if you're going to do like the Tate. I don't have a South Bank licence, but I think that's a bit better money at night. But yeah.
It's such a big thing now, busking, isn't it? There's a big circuit of musicians that are working the busking scene. So have you built up quite a network now with other musicians?
Yeah, I think you just do. Obviously, I've done a few gigs through Busking London as well, and they obviously hire buskers to perform, so you meet people that way. And I think do you know what, everyone's lovely and everyone just wants to help everyone wants to help the other one, so it's just a really great little network of people. So yeah. it's good.
And for anyone sort of starting out, I mean, you told me before this interview that you've only fairly recently sort of given up full-time work to do this full-time.
Yes.
So for anyone trying to start out on that journey and maybe using busking as their thing, what advice would you give to those people?
I would literally just say stop thinking about it and just do it, because there's no right time. There wasn't a right time for me, and it's scary because obviously being salaried like I was, you know that if you're like dipping 1 month, you're just like, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll get paid again next month. But with busking and gigging as well, it's like, wow, I don't know when my next gig's coming from. I don't know how much I'm going to get paid when I busk, but it all comes full circle. It all works out in the end. Yeah.
And what's the most unusual thing, would you say, that's happened to you since you've been busking? Anything that stands out in particular? Or any particular presents that people have given you whilst you've been busking?
Presents. I normally just get beer, which
really?
is just cool because I like beer. Yeah. You know.
Not necessarily whilst you're busking.
No, maybe after. But it's. I had this crazy guy in Clapham Junction. And I had to. This is a negative thing. I don't really like talking about negatives, but it was so surreal. Yeah. It was just, oh my God, what is wrong with you? He started screaming at me, pulling faces at me. Other members of the public had to like restrain him. One guy was like keeping him back from me for like a good 20 minutes. Wow. He kept trying to keep coming up, and it was insane because you kind of don't know how to react to those things. Yeah. It's like, do I get mad? Do I laugh? Like, this is just weird. Yeah. But that's probably the most surreal moment I've had busking. But luckily, it was only that once.
Have you ever had people sort of try and join in with you?
What I've had a few. I've had a few musicians actually who were like, can I just jam with you? And I'm like, of course. Like, I had this guy with an acoustic guitar and he was insanely good. So I was like, absolutely. If you can get me more money, then absolutely join in. There's also people who try and pay you to, you know, have a go, which I personally don't really like it because it's my stuff and it's my guitar and stuff. And if I said yes to one person, I think I'd just be constantly like off focus. So I'm too nice sometimes. So I've just set a rule for myself that, you know, I just say no to everyone and just get on with what I'm doing. I found a way out, and I'm not traipsing back. You jump-started my heart when I was strolling in black. And won't you linger in my mind, and I'll service your soul. And speak to me, I am not a child who will beguile. I will be kind, and I'll fight till you know. And as the bullet fires, my mindless love explodes. My body yearns to be one. See the water shimmer, shine by the river. We burnt our shelter down, sent our electric beams high. Never wake to a shiver, shine by the river. Oh yeah, oh. See the water shimmer, shine. I found a calm store that I sit in the eye with forever longing to be locked on yours. And won't you linger in my mind, and I'll service your song. And speak to me, I am not a child who will beguile. I will be kind, and I'll fight till you know. And as the bullet fires, my mindless love explodes. My body yearns to be one. See the water shimmer, shine by the river. We burnt our shelter down, bent our electric beams high. Never wake to a shiver, shout, shine, shine by the river. Oh, yeah, yeah, oh. See the water shimmer, shine, shine, shine. Oh, it's so well and good, writing love notes on a broken typewriter. But will you love me in December as you do in May? My mindless love explodes, my body yearns to be wine. See the water shimmer, shine, shine, shine by the river. Built our electric beams high, never wake to a shiver, shine, shine, shine by the river. Oh, yeah, yeah, oh. See the water shimmer, shine, shine, shine by the river.
The Alpha Sessions.
Okay, so let's take you back. Let's talk about how it all started for you then. Cool. What stage did you decide you wanted to take up music as a thing?
So I'd always been, like, I'm from quite a musical background. My dad was a musician. He was in a band in the 80s. He's a guitarist and he can sing. So I get it from him, even though he's really shy about it. Like, he won't sing in front of me.
Is he still in the band, or...?
I think he does, but he does more like production things now. And I am like looking to work with him at like one point, because he sent me something over the other day and I was like, oh my God, you didn't even tell me you could do this. Whereas I'm more like, I shout about what I can do and he doesn't. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of came from that. I think I always had it in me. And then as a kid, I'd just like rifle through my dad's CD collections, and a lot of the stuff I listened to when I was a kid was so not what was out at the time. My first obsession was Adamant. Like, I was absolutely obsessed with him. I'd ask for like memorabilia for Christmas, and this was like, you know, just starting secondary school, and I didn't tell anyone I went to school with, because I just used to pretend to like Eminem. Like, I do like Eminem, but like I really loved Adamant. So
you didn't go to school with a white stripe
I
pasted
didn't.
on your nose?
If I could have got away with it, I would.
Yeah.
So it just started from there. I sang in a school assembly. And then everyone was up to my mum, oh, why didn't you go to singing lessons? Then I went to singing lessons, and I'm classically trained. And then, from there, I just kind of found my own niche in my own way. And then I just started songwriting, and I really liked that aspect of it. And just from there, really.
So, I mean, did you always love that performance aspect of it when you were performing in assemblies and stuff? You got a buzz out of doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was quite a flamboyant child. Like, I liked, I did dance, drama, any performance I really loved. But I wasn't like the most confident kid. I was quite shy. And no one could believe it when I like got on stage and they were like, oh my God, she comes alive. And it was like a different person. But I think it was my kind of, I don't know, way of expression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you grew up near Birmingham, didn't you?
Yeah, on the outskirts, yeah.
So what made you and perhaps your family all want to relocate to London?
Well, it was just me. So I relocated to London because I just love the city, and to pursue music, I think the opportunities here are like unrivaled. Like, you can do so much. There's so many venues. The busking, they do have busking scenes elsewhere in the country, but I think it's more of a grounded thing here. Like, there's a, Busking London is a set up organisation especially for it, and the opportunity. Yeah.
Brilliant. And how did you first get into songwriting then? You touched on the fact you did it at quite an early age, but what was the process for you in starting with that?
So I just kind of started dabbling, and my dad kind of pushed me into doing it. So I started like writing songs on the keyboard. I went to uni and did music, so I was doing it there. But that was kind of, when I was at uni, it was kind of more focused on the classical singing aspect of it. And I kind of think when I left uni, I really did hit my niche of, finding out who I am as a songwriter and developing that more. because I would say it's an equal love for me now, songwriting to performing. Like, I could easily live a happy life songwriting for people.
Really?
Yeah.
And have you actually written songs for other people as well?
No, I'm in talks with doing some of that, and I would love to go further with that. But obviously being so busy all the time at the moment, trying to earn money, get gigs for myself. So I think it will come in time. Yeah.
And what's the songwriting process for you? Do you sort of sit at the piano and start with a melody and then add lyrics, or is there an order?
Do you know what? There isn't an order at all. It's just kind of like, sometimes I'll sit myself down and go, I'm going to write a song, and then I'll do it that way. But I think the best way you ever write a song is when you have something just switch in your head and you have to pick up the guitar and you just like go with it. But I have a rule now that I always finish a song I write, because I think it's such a habit that a lot of musicians get into, is not finishing things. And then you listen back to old voice notes and stuff and it's like, God, that's such a good, why did I not go further with that? So to avoid that annoyance, I just complete everything I do now.
Interesting. But there are presumably times where you get halfway through and you just think, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, but I think I kind of put that on the back burner, and then eventually something will happen.
Right.
But I'm not naturally that organised, so I come up with little systems of how to remember what I've done. But if it's just completely rubbish, I'll just scrap it there and then.
And you say you're classically trained. Have you experimented with different styles of music sort of before releasing this EP?
Yeah, I've been in bands before. I was in a band and it was quite heavy. We used to get compared to Led Zeppelin quite a bit, which was amazing. Yeah. I don't know how true that is, but it was good for me to hear that, because Robert Plant's just incredible. So I've done rock-based stuff, folky stuff. I'm not really a straight down the line person in terms of it has to sound like this. I want to kind of go between the lines of genres, and if someone does something with one of my songs that takes a different turn that I didn't expect and it sounds good, then I'm let's go with that. Let's see where this goes.
So even now you're quite flexible in sort of changing different genres for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it makes it so much more interesting as a musician to be like that, rather than I am this genre and this is what I do. I think that's the beauty of music, and that you can be that creative and have no boundaries.
I read on one of the websites actually that you've been compared to artists like Sia.
Yes.
And I sort of particularly thought Florence as well, actually.
I've heard that a few times. Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about those sort of comparisons?
I welcome any comparisons.
Does it put extra pressure on in some ways, or not really?
I don't really. Not that I don't value it, but it's just people. It's just interesting to hear individuals' opinions, because it's just opinions, and it's just not set in stone. So it's just interesting to hear what different people think, especially with music as well, what they get from your song. And it's I didn't write it about, but that's completely cool that you think that. Yeah, so I just find it really interesting. It doesn't make me think, oh my God, I've got to sound like Sia all the time now. No.
But are there particular artists that you would say have inspired you that you've listened to a lot?
Absolutely. Obviously a lot of old stuff. Adamant.
Yeah.
I think that's faded a bit now, but
that's classic stuff. I love a bit of Adamant.
Amazing.
I should have got you to do a cover of Prince Charming.
Oh, you should have.
Yeah.
I should have told you prior. So T-Rex, loads of old rock bands, David Bowie, of course. Kate Bush is a massive influence on me. When I used to watch, she did a show in the 80s, and I don't know where I got it from, but I used to watch it relentlessly in my room, and I just used to watch her. And she was the first artist, especially being a female as well. I know there's female artists that have been quite progressive and creative, but she was the first one that I thought, oh my God, look at what she's doing. No other female artist at the time was doing anything that kind of. Some people think it's wacky, or I know it's an acquired taste, but to me, just it kind of just blew the doors wide open. It really did make me see what was possible.
Yeah.
So she's a massive influence, and a lot of modern artists now, like Lana Del Rey, Bournes as well, is someone I really love. And if no one's listened to him, go and listen to him. He's a genius. So,
wow.
yeah.
So quite a range of stuff then. Certainly you like your 80s by the sound of it, but a lot of current acts out there as well.
Yeah.
Now, we had a question sent in from, I believe, a friend of yours, herself an amazing musician, actually, Amy Weir,
Absolutely.
who asked the question, what's the favourite lyric you've written?
Do you know what? I looked at that this morning and I was like going through and I was like, I can't like pick one, but I'm going to narrow it down because I write so many lyrics and I've got so many songs. So do stay tuned for that because there's more things coming than just my EP. But from my EP, I would say it's a lyric in Ride or Die, and it's find the key and I'll be your bohemian bride. Just because I think it sounds really good as like a tagline or something. And all my lyrics are kind of metaphorical and double meanings. And yeah, I don't really have... But yeah, I'm going to go with that one. I'll go with that one.
That's a great lyric. Yeah.
Red dress in the clear-cut moonlight, is she a deceiver? Noises fall in the still of twilight, silence is a fever. Take a way through the dirty river, don't you feel cleaner? Bold laughter makes a girl feel leaner. Infatuation doesn't come fresh, it's illusion at best. It's a figure in a red high dress. So ride or die, sing your lines, find the key and I'll be your bohemian bride. Hide or fight, tell me lies, you don't need to speak for me to read your true mind. As you'll see, we're not merely dreaming, I hope you're not a little too shy to ride or die. Be mine, be mine. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, now run fast through the den of Eden, the gates are wide open. Come clean to me, your demons are floating on the surface. Turn off the light or turn on me, whatever makes you feel good. Empty and new, heaven knows what I could do to you, boy. So ride or die, sing your lines, find the key and I'll be your bohemian bride. Hide or fight, tell me lies, you don't need to speak for me to read your true mind. As you'll see, we're not merely dreaming, I hope you're not a little too shy to ride or die. Be mine, be mine. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Whoa, now did you sell your soul to the devil or gamble it away? Did you go cheap, darling, bargaining, no price was paid? Sold to the devil or gamble it away? No, 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 finally we burn in the flames we light, intoxicating you tonight. So ride or die, sing your lines, find the key and I'll be your bohemian bride. Yeah, hide or fight, tell me lies, you don't need to speak for me to read your true mind. As you'll see, we're not merely dreaming, I hope you're not a little too shy to ride or die. Be mine, be mine. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Whoa, now ride or die.
The Alpha Sessions.
So let's talk about collaborations. So if you could actually perform in a dream world, let's create this, dream scenario where you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive.
I like that addition.
Who would it be? Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Probably Freddie Mercury.
Really?
Yeah. Like he's just absolutely. Oh, I don't know what to say. Like he's just an icon, isn't he? And he was just like one of a kind. Someone who is alive though that I'd work with is Bournes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So let's say you were going to do this dream gig with Freddie or
Yeah.
Bournes. Where would be the dream place to play?
Do you know what? This might sound really like stupid, but I would honestly love to just do a small venue, like just to see how it would work in that kind of. I wouldn't want like do an arena or anything. Maybe just like a little backstreet room in a dive bar or something like that, just to kind of see how he would work in that situation. And I know he did like things like that when he was coming up, but it would just be really, because I think it's more intimate.
And that leads us on nicely to gigs, actually. I mean, obviously we've talked a lot about busking, but you do a lot of other gigging and stuff as well. So what makes a great gig venue for you?
I think it can literally be anything. It's mainly you feed off the audience, so the reception of the audience. They don't necessarily have to come up to you and tell you you're amazing after, but you can just kind of see when someone's feeling what you're doing. Or if I do a pub gig and someone like stands at the door and then walks in, and, you know, that gives me a really great feeling. People joining in, you know, having a bit of chat with people whilst you're on stage. Yeah, so I like things like that.
So you prefer perhaps the more intimate gigs rather than sort of the larger ones?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And I've seen on YouTube, check it out on YouTube if you haven't already, but there's some where a lot of people have been joining in with you. So it must be quite fun doing some of the covers and stuff where you can get everyone involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I do have my go-tos that I know just people will just love. So What's Going On by Four Non Blondes, You Somebody by Kings of Leon. Yeah.
Stand and Deliver.
Stand and Deliver could
do that one,
possibly
couldn't you?
a new
there you
one.
go, yeah.
It would be a shocker. I don't think anyone would be expecting that one.
No, I don't think I've heard a cover version of that. There you go. That'll be a challenge. If that comes on YouTube, you heard it here first.
Absolutely.
So going back to this dream gig then. So let's give you another scenario now with a dream rider. So if you could choose any sort of dream thing to be brought to you before or after your gig. And we've had anything from micro goats to ridiculous amounts of chocolate.
Micro goats.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, someone's really thought that through.
Right. Okay. So, I'm going to say puppies because I love dogs. I'm a massive dog. Actually, more specifically, mini schnauzers.
Oh well.
If I could just have like a bushel of them, yeah, that would set me. I think that would set me up perfectly. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. I don't need anything.
Do you have dogs at home?
No. I live in. It's too small where I live. It's too cruel.
Yeah.
I would love one though.
Okay, surrounded by puppies. That sounds
yes.
Good. Okay, brilliant. So let's talk about the latest EP then.
Cool.
Ride or Die. Mm-hmm. We played a couple of tracks from that today. So tell us a bit about how the EP came together.
So the first song I wrote for that was Shot by the River. And I kind of had these like 3 tracks, and I went so My Mantra was actually one I swapped over last minute, but it was actually the producer's favourite one, and I was like, oh, that's a turn up then. So I went up there, and then it was just kind of amazing how he collated these songs, which I thought were so different, and there was kind of like a theme to them, like kind of like a stadium arena kind of sound, and it was just really, really cool the way he did it. So yeah, the process was so easy. Like obviously when you go somewhere and you don't know the person, you don't know the producer, you don't know how they work, you don't know what's going to happen, you're like, this could be a nightmare or like paradise.
So you didn't have a producer in mind when you created this then?
Absolutely not, no. A friend recommended him to me, and I listened to some of the stuff he'd done before, and I was like, okay, but I think mine sounds, I know everyone sounds different, but I wasn't expecting what happened, but I'm literally blown away with what he did.
That's interesting. So in your mind, the final version turned out to be very different from what you thought it was going to be.
Absolutely. And that goes back to that, just going with the process, I think, and being creative and just kind of finding a flow in the moment and not just thinking, well, I thought it would sound like this, so it needs to sound like this. It just flowed, and he was so easy to work with. He was just amazing. I literally can't say anything wrong about what he did. It just kind of flowed. There wasn't really that much that I had to, say, oh, maybe not that. It was just really good. Really good.
And do you have like a band that come around with you sort of on tour or, that perform with you at gigs as well?
I'm in the process of looking for a band because I do think that my music needs that... It just needs it. At the moment, I'm performing acoustically, and I've had some rehearsals with a cajon player. I've got a gig on Monday at the Half Moon in Putney, which I'm doing a kind of a 3-piece, but I do want to expand it.
Okay,
yes.
Brilliant. So if there's anyone out there listening, perhaps
they'll
have to get in contact with you by
I've
social
already
media.
got a bassist. It's so annoying because I feel so bad turning people down, but I got a load of bassists, and I was like, oh, where's all the other people? I'm sorry, I've already got one, but yeah.
Okay.
No bassist.
No bassist. No.
It's done.
Bassist need not apply.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the tracks on the EP. Shot by the River.
Yes.
Tell us about that particular song.
So as I said, first one I written for the EP, and it's kind of about the whole theme of the EP has kind of a theme which I didn't really pull together until I started analysing it after. It's a theme of reckless abandon and freedom. So I think with Shot by the River, there's kind of a sense of the wild abandon that you feel when you're in love, and how you kind of feel indestructible. But then in the bridge, it's kind of typical me, second guessing it, oh my God, this could all crumble. This is kind of dangerous. So it's got that kind of theme.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Ride or Die is another track from there as well. Tell us about that one. Yeah.
So I think that's more of a sultry track. It's a tongue-in-cheek kind of take on love. So different from the sincerity of Shot by the River. It's kind of more about a woman toying with someone, but kind of it's kind of empowering as well, because I think I envisioned a woman being so self-assured that anything could happen and it really wouldn't bother her.
How many of these songs do you write from personal experiences, or do you create sort of stories in your mind about characters and stuff?
So basically what I'd say, especially with Ride or Die, is it is based on me, but it's kind of an exaggeration of me, which I do sometimes because I just think it's a bit more interesting than I was in Sainsbury's and this, no one wants to hear that.
I mean, could do a song about Sainsbury's. But,
maybe see what, see how far, see how interesting I can make that in the jam aisle. So I just kind of like to push where I can go with those kind of things.
And one other track you did for us today, Starting Wars. Talk to us about that.
So that's when I just literally thought I'm going to do that one. It's a new song. I'm not doing anything with it at the moment. I do want to release it eventually, but for that one I do want it to be very stripped back. So that's basic. That is the quickest song I've ever written. I wrote that literally, I think it was in 7 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
But I really loved that one. I was like, oh, amazing.
Sometimes the best ideas just come out like that.
Absolutely. And I really liked that song. So I was just like, oh, amazing. Easy work.
7 to 10 minutes. That is impressive. Wow.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
amazing.
making it up. It happened.
That is a great day's work, isn't it?
It is. It's I can take the day off now.
Yeah, exactly. So what have you got coming up then? What have you got more sort of EPs and releases planned?
I'm actually working on a project at the moment with an amazing guy, and we're collaborating. Some of the songs are mine and some we've kind of co-written. And I'm actually doing a session with him on Sunday, so I'm going to be filming a bit of what we do together, just to kind of tease a bit. But I'm super excited about it because we work really well together, and the tracks we've come up with, so we know what tracks we're going to do, and I really like them, and I think they're going to do well.
Wow, sounds like an exciting project.
Yes.
And maybe we'll hear that maybe early next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Well, we look forward to hearing a lot more. If people want to find out more about you, where can they go?
They can go to my social medias. So it's at Emma Withers UK. That's the main source nowadays. Give me a message, get in touch. I'm always happy to talk to people, and I do always answer. So
That's a lot of pressure, though, isn't it? Trying to get back to everyone.
Yeah. I do always try. Well, you know what? I always do. I don't think there's anyone I've ever left out. It's kind of like my side job. I'm like just answering. Not that I'm not that in demand. I'm not like being that arrogant about it, but I do.
Give it a couple of months.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Well, make sure you check that out on social media. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming down.
Thank you very much for having me.
Darling, we made it the way, rode in faithless, and I couldn't tell you from the start. I bubbled out of bitterness, and I took a while to chase it, but now we're both staring into the same old sun. Who knew that it would be me and you? And all of the roads that I could have chose, they dissipate. And sweet talking storm and soul, steady in hand when you're starting wars, starting wars, starting wars. Hush now, sweetheart, you're killing us here when you're starting wars, starting wars, starting wars. Nobody's perfect, but we need to settle down, maybe get out of this old town for a day or two. Let's find our feet again and our own release with each other beneath, just like we always do. Who knew that it would be me and you? And all of the roads that I could have chose, they dissipate. And sweet talking storm and soul, steady in hand when you're starting wars, starting wars, starting wars. Hush now, sweetheart, you're killing us here when you're starting wars, starting wars, starting wars. Who knew that it would be me and you? And all of the roads that I could have chose. And sweet talking storm